Hey, what's up YouTube? So we're doing a little different video here today, more or less me seeking information type of video. So what we're working on here is a 2004 Jeep Liberty with the 3.7 in it, automatic, and what we're trying to determine is a better understanding of these fuel trims. Now, I'm more of a nuts and bolts kind of guy. I have a very general concept of fuel trims, and I understand the point of them and how you can use that information to really diagnose, not just drivability issues, but engine performance issues. I have a general concept of it, general understanding. Now, this vehicle does not have a mass airflow sensor, so it must use some other different theory or logic in order to populate that information. So what I'm going to do is, the reason why I'm recording this, and it's hard to see down here at the bottom, but this is actually the Bank 2 long-term adapt fuel trim. You can see the last time it was running, it was up at a positive 11.1, and the the long-term for Bank 1 was at 8.8%. From what I understand is the goal of this is always to keep everything as close as you can to zero. That's going to give you the best operability for your engine. And so what the computer does is it uses the O2 sensor data to constantly adapt the amount of fuel and air mix ratio in order to create the perfect run for the vehicle and to keep it running properly, and also for fuel efficiency as well as the economy and environment, because you don't want a bunch of fuel being dumped in, or you'll ruin your catalytic converter, and it also pollutes the environment. So with that said, I'm going to start the vehicle up here. It's completely cold right now. Let me see what the temperature is outside, not that this matters, but it's 50 degrees Fahrenheit here, and I'm going to start it up. Now, what we're watching for here is, right now there's no movement at all on the short term. And usually that's because it hasn't gone into closed loop. So it might take a few minutes for this to go into closed loop. But once it goes into closed loop, once it reaches a certain temperature, it'll really start to correct the long term. So right now, if you notice, let's see here. So it's taken a lot of, I noticed on Bank 2 here, if you notice this, it looks like it's taken a lot of fuel away. Minus means it's taking fuel away because it's running rich. Positive means that it's running lean. So if it's adding fuel, meaning plus, that means it's running lean. Now, what I've noticed is once this does reach operating temperature and everything starts to, all the O2 sensors warm up and everything, what I've noticed is it seems like it's running lean, specifically on Bank 2. Now, from what I understand, this vehicle will not throw a code unless it is 25% plus minus on your fuel trim. When you add the long-term and short-term together, from what I understand, it's not until it gets to 25%. So I'm just going to let this idle here and let you just watch the trims here. And I apologize, like I said, it's cut off here. This scanner doesn't really give you a good zoom feature on here. It's just your basic Altel here. So eventually, once it warms up, you'll start to see the long-terms adjusting. So I just figured let you guys watch this data and give me your input on what you think it is. While you're watching this, I'm just going to talk about some other stuff regarding this vehicle. Some of the things I have done is I have checked for vacuum leaks. I've looked all around the engine, your classic. I've been doing like brake clean. I haven't, introduced propane or anything like that. Just something with some ether in it, or to see if it would change the values or change the reading on the O2 sensors. I don't have a very good graphing meter here to watch the oxygen sensors to see how they respond. Unfortunately, when I'm watching on this, the scope and the graphing on this is very slow and doesn't respond very quickly. So it really doesn't give me very accurate information on the oxygen sensors as far as watching them change when you introduce any kind of fuel or anything that's flammable around the top of the engine, around the sides. Because I checked like around the intake, around the throttle body, just sprayed everything down and just tried to see if I could find a vacuum leak, but I couldn't find one. Now the part that I thought was interesting is that once it warms up, it looks as though that the short term, or on, I'm sorry, yeah, the short term on the Bank 2 starts to improve, I noticed. Like I said, I'm not good at reading this, so this video is more or less just to see if anybody has any feedback on these 3.7s as far as, you know, where are they supposed to run? Is this normal? You know, this has 123,000 miles on it. It has had catalytic converters put on it at 90,000, and it's had plugs, spark plugs done. The oil's kept changed in it. Like I said, I looked all over the place. I couldn't find any vacuum leaks. The tube that connects from the airbox that goes around and hooks up to the back of each valve cover in the rear area, that plastic tube, I did replace that because I found some cracks on there that could be causing some pirate air. So it doesn't look like the long terms have started to adjust yet. I'd say we've probably been idling now for about 3 or 4 minutes now. Maybe a little longer. I should have brought engine temperature up on here as well as closed loop status, but like I said, unfortunately this screen here is so small I can't really fit a lot of PIDs on here at the same time. So of course, now that I'm recording this, the short-term values seem to be doing quite well, actually, at keeping as close as possible to zero. Which is really bizarre, because the other day when I did this, Bank 2 was really running extremely lean on the short term until it started to warm up. And then it was starting to balance out better. So it was running kind of lean. So it makes me wonder if on the passenger side of the engine, if I don't have some kind of possible vacuum leak or something going on there. Yeah, I mean, the long term still haven't started to adapt yet, so it may not have gone into closed loop yet. Yeah, this is very bizarre. Like I was saying, this is actually not doing too bad right now as far as trying to keep it as close as it can to zero. The other day, like I mentioned just a second ago, Bank 2 definitely looked like it was running really lean. And as you can tell too, from the previous, right now the long-term values is whatever was saved from the last time it was running, from the last heat soak before it cooled off. So it's still running off of, it still hasn't changed the long terms yet. So as you can see, the 11 there, 11.1% positive. So that shows you right there that Bank 2 long term was doing a lot of correcting as far as adding fuel. To me, that seems kind of high. But once again, that's why I'm making this video, to see what you guys think. Then again, it could be perfectly normal, you know, for a 123,000 mile vehicle. You know, it's hard to say. I've looked at other vehicles, just do some comparison, and the long terms are definitely a lot better than what this is. I feel like it should be reached closed loop by now. almost up to operating temperature on the gauge. I wonder here, sorry for the shaky camera here. Wonder if I back out of here for a second and just do some poking. We'll come back to this here and check it, but you can see where it's at now. Let's go back here. Let me see here. Engine coolant temperature degrees. Let's see if we can just throw that in here and just see. If we scroll down here. So it's at 168 degrees Fahrenheit. Like I said, it is getting up there, but it's still not quite up to operating temperature. As you can see, the long term still hasn't started to adjust yet. Let's see if we can go back and find out if this has gone into closed loop. So there's closed loop timer. Where's the closed loop status? There's a lot of data pits on here. Okay, I don't see anything in there. Yeah, nothing in there either. Maybe the closed loop timer? Maybe that's just the way this scan tool what verbiage it uses. Let's just hit it and see what it comes up with. 0 seconds. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, so now we're getting some movement. Did you see that there? How this is? So we're going to go scroll back up so that we got this at the top. So now we're looking at bank 2, as you can see. Well, even bank 1, the long term, is still 8%. We're down at 9.4% for the long term on bank 2. You know, honestly, like I said, this information could be normal. I was just hoping someone out there might have some data as far as knowing what this is normally looks like some known good values. We can back out of here for a minute here. Let's go back under live data where we were. Let's go down and let's take a look at these oxygen sensors here. Sorry for the really annoying beep here. Let's see. So bank 1 of 1, bank 2 of 1 volts. Let's see, let's go down here. So bank, let's see here. Actually, I think these are what I want here. This is what yeah, let's clear. Let's do this. Let's do bank 1, sensor 1, bank 2, sensor 1, and then the 2 downstreams. We'll put them in that order. Okay, and okay. Alright, that's the voltage. Let's see if we can graph this. So 1 of 1, 1 of 2, 2 of 1. So these are the downstreams. These are the upstreams. As you can see, they are fluctuating. I'm going to give it a little throttle here. So you can see how it took some fuel away there. Now I did replace the downstream oxygen sensors at one point here. Let's go back to text. So let's see, bank 2, one of these are the downstreams here. So that means the cats are working good. They're not fluctuating. So that means those catalytic converters are working good. The only concern I have, let me see how they respond here. I'll give it a little throttle. One would think I would have gotten a little bit more response out of these downstream O2 sensors. Reason why I say that is because, yeah, they're supposed to stay steady, you know, because if they start fluctuating, then it means that obviously your catalytic converters aren't working anymore because it's letting too much exhaust gases through. It's not picking it up anymore and removing the gases. But at the same time, you would think that I would have some kind of, you know, that's 3/4 throttle. Sometimes if your O2 sensors either aren't working correctly, or if, you know, as far as they're not reporting correctly, it could also be that there could also be potentially a plugged cats that will do that too. So let's get out of here. Let's just look. Right now I'm in, I am not in generic OBD2. Right now I'm under Chrysler. Let's get out of here. Yeah. Exit. Alright, let's just go into generic OBD2. Take a look-see here. Okay, so no codes. System's okay. Okay. Let's go to live data. Sorry, I know this is probably a super boring video, but those of you car geeks out there like myself that likes to look at this crap might enjoy this. We'll do a custom set. Okay, so short term, let's look at short terms again. Look at long terms, go down and hit there, hit OK. Alright, let's see what we're looking at here. So this is where we're at now. This is a generic data. That looks good. Short terms look good. Long terms, yeah, this doesn't look bad actually. Like I said, this could be normal. I don't know if this means there's a lean condition or if that's normal. I really need to get better educated on this stuff. Now, if we hit clear all, let's see what we get from the oxygen sensors here. So output voltage, bank 1 sensor 1, bank 2 sensor 1, bank 1 sensor 2, and bank 2. Let's go down here. We're missing one here. Might be down one. Oh, here it is. Bank 2 sensor, okay. Let's look at it here. There's the voltage. Let's do graph. Yeah, it's amazing how OBD2 looks different than for generic data. So they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're fluctuating. So we got movement here. So this is, what is this? Let's see if I can see what this is. So bank 2 sensor 2 isn't doing anything. Now it is. So there, it just came to life now. Okay, I feel better now. Sometimes, like I said, you gotta go under generic data to really get a good understanding to see everything. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, not the most interesting video. Most people are probably gonna, you know, critique it and criticize it and call me an idiot, and that's fine. I accept that. I'm not educated on this stuff. Have a general concept, but 2004 Jeep Liberty 3.7. Just my concern is as far as if I'm running too lean on more so on bank 2 and what anybody else, if anybody else has any of this this data, known good data, as far as what this should look like on this engine, and if I'm within spec. But I thank you for watching. Like I said, I have no codes currently. Haven't had any codes. I've had the vehicle now for, geez, 2.5 years? Yeah, 2.5 years we're going to say, and I haven't had any codes at all ever come up. So, yeah, I thank you for watching. Any feedback's appreciated. And y'all have a goody-goody. Take care.